Hi, my name is Allison Rothlisberger, and picture that it's past midnight. I'm sitting on my bed with my computer in front of me, and a final I have a final essay to write for my class. I also have the biggest lacrosse game of the season that everyone on the team spent probably close to 8 months preparing for. I mean, it was a very overwhelming feeling to be sitting there with two majorly really important things going on in my life that I both really cared about, but I'd put myself in a position where I had two things competing for very little time. I had to write this paper and also try to perform well in the morning in a very, very, very important lacrosse game. I knew my procrastination would make my paper worse and my performance in the game worse as well, which would not just hurt me, it would also hurt my teammates. I think everyone, I think many people struggle with procrastination as employees, students, or athletes. We really struggle with current enjoyment, getting home from practice and just going to sleep or scrolling on my phone instead of focusing on my schoolwork, which I think is a pretty common experience. I've spent many years trying to figure out a good work-play balance for my sports and my school, and it's definitely been a struggle, and I'm still improving on it and definitely not perfect at it. I think that this concept was really reflected in the fable, The Ant and the Grasshopper. This moral, the moral of this story helped me address my chronic procrastination. My personal experience of feeling super unprepared in really important situations was definitely was definitely reflected in the story a lot. So the fable, according to aesopsfable.com, goes like this. In a field one summer's day, a grasshopper was hopping about, chirping and singing to its heart's content. An ant passed by, bearing along the great toil of an ear of corn he was taking to his nest. "Why not come and chat with me?" said the grasshopper, "instead of toiling and moiling that way." "I'm helping to lay up food for the winter," said the ant, "and I recommend you do the same." "Why bother about winter?" said the grasshopper. "We've got plenty of food at present." But the ant went on its way and continued its toil. When the winter came, the grasshopper had no food and found itself dying of hunger, while it saw the ants distributing every day corn and grain from stores they had collected in the summer. Then the grasshopper knew it is best to prepare for the days of necessity. This fable definitely resonated with me a lot because it did reflect the fact that a lack of preparing in the summer of our lives, which is times leading up to things like final exams and really important games and leading up to seasons. I'm in preseason for lacrosse right now. This is the time where you kind of put your head down and prepare for really important times of being finally tested, whether that's academically or on the field or in a job interview or having a presentation, something like that. I definitely avoided the gathering of grain in my classes, which I put lacrosse over it as a priority. I tried to quote unquote gather the grain in lacrosse and ignored it in my classes. And I definitely saw that exam week sophomore year. It was I played in the state championship game. We won, so lacrosse season was over. We were state champions, and that felt amazing. But that feeling didn't last long because soon I realized that I was majorly unprepared for several exams, including an AP exam that I'd spent no time studying for, and it was super stressful. And I look back on that and think that if I had prepared better, then I would have had better results in both sides of my lives. Both sides of my life. um, these exams were harsh deadlines that, I mean, there was no getting around them. I had to do my best, and it would either go well or terribly. And with some last minute, very stressful studying sessions, it went fine, but I know it could have gone better, and that's something I regret a lot. The whole experience did teach me that preparing in the quiet moments would lead to less stress in my life, even if it meant giving up temporary enjoyment. I have learned that whether in the field or the classroom, the summers of our lives are times for preparation, as well as like you can still have fun. It's not always like just put your head down and work all the time, because you need balance in your life too. But because of the working in the summer, you can have balance in the winter where it's not just stress and honestly not that great of performance. So thank you so much for your time.